Shazam, issue 17, Josie Campbell writing with Dan McDaid on the art. So, this is continuing the Freddy Commander stuff, where he's now taking endorsements, or he's doing endorsements, I should say, for a company, for the evil company, who are, you know, basically saying we want to get rid of the homeless, but we can't because those goody two-shoe Marvel family keep like helping them and feeding them. But that's why we have the Commander, and he's got some endorsement deals. And this causes a fight between Billy and Freddy, where Billy's like, heroes don't take the money, we save people to save them. And Freddy, while he's being a dick, it does kind of like, he kind of implies that he's doing this and getting the money to help out with their parents' money issues, because the parents are fighting legal battles with Billy's mum, who's trying to sue them. And it's like, hey, I'm doing something to actually help our parents adopt us. What are you doing? And like Billy's left there standing in the cold at the front door as Freddy flies off and Shazam's up. Yeah, that was a good opening scene. I thought it got to, because the thing that we get to here is we go through the issue. Billy goes to the Rock of Eternity, talks to the captain, because they kind of do this like dual identity thing now, and he's like, hey, like this thing that Freddy's got, this green lightning that's giving him power, like what is it? Like did you find anything about it? He's like, oh, I didn't find anything in the records. It predates all the records. But they go to Hephaestus to find out, because he built it. He forged this green lightning thing. And he basically talks about how, you know, it landed on Earth or wherever, and it was this powerful thing, and there was this entity inside of it, and he was forging it, and he realized that as he was forging it, that he was like thinking different things, that it was influencing him. And he basically describes it as like not inherently evil, but it's a test that'll prey upon all the worst voices that you could have in your head. And that lines up with all that sort of like doubting narration that we've been seeing with Freddy, where it's like, oh, they don't really love you, they think you're weak, you know, so on and so on.
It's almost giving you permission to be your worst self, right? Which isn't necessarily evil, but it's very much about being selfish and kind of self-interested and all that type of thing.
I think it's interesting though to phrase it that way, though, that it's a test, because that makes me think that ultimately Freddy might be able to resist it and
overcome it.
Yeah. And maybe he gets to keep the power at that point. Maybe like whatever this thing is, it'll let him keep it, and you know, he won't have to give it up because he's earned it, kind of thing. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting spin on it. And you know, meanwhile, Mary is like looking into this company as well, because obviously, what's her face, the Savannah daughter,
Georgia, that's right,
that's the one. She's like, yeah, and they had those mobile phone things in their chests, right? So they go investigating, and they basically find this huge, I assume underground, like metallic room with a big bridge, and there's all this like machinery around the outside of it. But it seems to turn out that a lot of the villains that have been in the past couple of arcs are all here. Like we've got the graffiti girl from the subways, but there's also the troll king dude from that last arc as well. Plus a couple of the villains have the phones in their chests. So it seems like this company's collecting like...
Well, yeah, you also have the space gorillas, right? From the other one. They have a phone in their chest, and they have those giant bats and stuff. So it seems like Savannah's behind this, but they're working with someone else. And we know she's working with Mr. Mind, right? But
yeah, we know that, But it makes me wonder though, like, I don't think the implication here is that they always were being controlled by the company / Savannah. I think the implication here is that after they've been in the story, they've been taken by this company, and that they've been turned into soldiers for Savannah's cause.
Yeah, and see that social media company that Freddy's working for is called Society, right?
That's right.
And I'm wondering if that's
Secret Society of Monsters, yes.
Right. The Monster Society, yeah. So I feel like that's what this is building to, is this is going to be like a, technologically enhanced Monster Society led by Mr. Mind. But it's also, I'm wondering if this Amber thing that Hephaestus had formed, and it's like a test, I'm wondering if it has something to do with Mr. Mind, right? Because that's how kind of Mr. Mind works. He's a telepathic Venusian.
Yeah, also the little creature thing we kind of see inside of it makes me think of Mr. Mind as well.
Me too.
So yeah.
So I wonder if it's one of his type of things, but he's not inherently evil like Mr. Mind is, and that's why it's preying on your kind of worst self as the test to see if you could earn this power. Yeah, definitely interesting things at play here. I like how Campbell's kind of tying all the other arcs together here, where it feels like it's been slowly setting up this society.
Yeah, it feels like it's bringing a lot of things together. I do think the again, that narration that's actually sort of like the voice speaking to Freddy in his head, still very effective. It's been effective every time it's come up, which is cool. Yeah, and it seems like the issue ends with Mary fighting all these monsters that are being controlled by the company, whilst Freddy seemingly is maybe going to go ruin a homeless camp, which, you know, proper evil stuff. Dudley's in the foreground looking like, oh no, what's happening here? So, yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, the arc's been really solid. I think I'm enjoying this more than the Subway arc, and that was already a strong arc that I thought Josie Campbell started with, but I think this is really clicking this arc specifically. So, I'm having a good time. I like that it's not, you know, it's kind of, I mean, I don't really see the rest of the family in this issue, but, you know, Billy, Freddy, and Mary all have a little something to do. And it feels like they're all doing different things, and they're all kind of linking up in different sides of the same story, which is cool as well. So
yeah, I also love that when Billy's talking to the captain, and he's like, you know, I don't know everything that is in here on the Rock of Eternity, so I got some help from that dinosaur accountant, which I thought was pretty funny, right? And he goes, and he helped you, and the captain tells Billy, you know, unlike you, I did all my paperwork, and Billy just under his breath is like, oh, good, so my adult self is just Eugene. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, the only kind of downside for the issue really is that, you know, Dan McDaid's art is, you know, kind of a little bit middling, I would say.
Not a fan. I don't like his Hephaestus looks great, but any of the kind of normal human characters feel a little bit off.
Yeah,
so
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Freddy kind of looks like Fabio in some of these scenes. You know,
yeah. So sometimes, like, he almost, like, there's a page where he's like hearing all of the negativity, because it's basically like the voice is. Well, I think it's actually as Hephaestus is describing what the voice does to you, and you see like Freddy hearing like all the negative voices of everyone around the city, and it's all this hate, it's all this xenophobia and whatever else, and he's sort of holding his head in pain in this big full page spread, like. I swear, like, the way he's overdone the top of the boots is like they're so long the way they flop down in front of the rest of the boots. I know he always kind of has that, but it just it looked like so 70s to me in a way that just like I get it, the whole, like, you know, Freddy inspired Elvis, blah blah blah. Yeah. Right, but this looked like, okay, no, this looks like I'm looking at the Honky Tonk Man right now with these trousers. I just, I was like, maybe overdoing it a bit. Yeah,
I won't disagree. But again, if we get McDaid doing a Greek gods book, I think it would look great. I think it fits a little bit more there, because like his Hephaestus here has some, you know, kind of the New 52 Greek gods vibe to it, and we kind of get a little bit of his history in there as well, which I do like. But yeah, for the most part, the art wasn't doing it for me. So
I do miss the artist we had on the last arc. Yes, I will say that. But still digging the story though, and digging everything they're doing with the characters and the way it's all kind of coming together. Like, I'm actually really invested in what's happening next. So there's not much better you can say than that for the writing. So what are you giving Shazam, Matt?
I'm gonna give this a solid 7.5.
Yeah, I want to go higher because I'm really enjoying the story, but I think the art just has to drag it under the 8. It really does. So I'll agree with the 7.5.